This video is sponsored by Walmart. This $996 OLED just shocked me. It's the LG B4, last year's entry-level OLED TV. But what if I told you it performed like this year's flagship LG G5 for less than half the price? Today, I'll show you real comparisons, the surprising truth about all OLED TVs, and if this is your first OLED TV, yes, the B4 is the go-to upgrade. Now let's be honest, I know we all want the LG G5, the buzz, the hype, the flagship, but what if I told you the LG B4 more often than not looks indistinguishable, just like that flagship TV? When you sit down and actually watch content, most people, including me, you're not going to notice the difference because most content has been graded and colored to look the same, whether it's the LG B4 or the G5. It's kind of like, you know me and car analogies, right? So you have a Ferrari, gets 200 miles per hour on a track, but when you're driving from your home in the suburbs to the local Trader Joe's, going at the speed limit of 35 miles an hour, well, whether it's that Ferrari or a minivan, you're both going 35 miles an hour. And that's the point. Most content is graded and colored in such a way that it doesn't push the G5 to its limits, but rather it fits perfectly within the capabilities of both the B4 and the G5, which means for the price of the B4, you're getting an image quality that looks just like the G5 because all that content looks the same when you're looking at creator's intent. Now, obviously the G5 has higher headroom. So yes, it can get brighter if you need it to get brighter, but we'll talk about that later. For now, I want to compare the content that you'll be watching. Filmmaker mode, HDR. This is the best of the best content, right? We're going to talk about top movies, how they look on both TVs, the way the creators intended. Beginning with Ford versus Ferrari. Boom, check that out. Yeah, they look pretty indistinguishable, right? How about Aquaman? It's supposed to be a bright, bish, bang, boom movie, and yet they look very similar. Because both of these TVs are OLED panel technologies. Yes, the G5 has the latest primary RGB tandem OLED, very high tech, but not pushed to its limit with these movies. And the B4 has the older W OLED, Evo panel, whatever that is. Doesn't matter, they're both OLED, which means infinite contrast, deep blacks, great color, everything pops. Now, if I put in a slightly brighter movie, and I'll tell you this right now, there's less than 5 of these type of movies, so we'll put in Alpha. This was graded to 4,000 nits, and yet they look very similar except for some of those highlights. You see, on the G5 it is a little bit brighter, but the B4 is not that far behind. So you're getting a true OLED experience without the flagship price tag. Which takes us to the other affordable OLED alternatives at Walmart if LG is not your thing. How about the 55-inch Samsung S90C for $1,069? For only $70 more, you get QD OLED and a nice jump in brightness. Or go the other way, save even more money and get the Sansui OLED TV for only $799. Although you are definitely giving up HDR impact for that deal. Yep, Walmart is now your OLED TV destination, whether you're shopping on a budget or going full hog flagship. You'll find it at Walmart, who happens to be sponsoring this video. But let's say you're in a sun-filled room, right? A very bright room, and you're wondering, okay, what am I leaving on the table if I don't get the G5? So we'll watch some of these TV shows. I set both TVs to the brighter preset, ISF, Bright Room, or whatever it's called, right? Colors look pretty good. This is SDR content, free TV, and take a look. Yes, the G5, a little bit brighter. Watching cooking shows, cowboy movies and westerns, news. The G5 does get a little bit brighter. And for sure, sports, although the B4 is bright enough in a light-controlled room, the G5 can sear your eyeballs. Check out that golf. And so yes, the G5 headroom is higher, but guess what? That B4, a little bit brighter than your 10-year-old TV. And that's the point. If you're upgrading to your first OLED, right? Your TV is like 6, 7, 8 years old. The B4, you're not going to go down in brightness. At worst the same, maybe even a little bit brighter. But for sure, your HDR impact, boom. It is awesome on the B4. Check out Netflix streaming, The Witcher. They look very similar to me. As a matter of fact, they are. Now let's say you have a little bit of extra money, right? You're asking, maybe I should upgrade to the C series. The gap is even closer between the B4 and the C4 or the C5. What I would suggest instead, for a few $100s more, get a soundbar. That gives you a more emotional immersion, impact, bass. This Samsung soundbar and subwoofer kit, HWB550D, now gives you both clear vocals, a bit more loudness, and bass that challenges the G5. So you're going to have better audio than your friend down the street who has the G5. Bring him over, have him watch Aquaman. He's like, wait a minute, you have a G5? No, I got the B4 Plus soundbar and subwoofer. And he'll be like, oh, all right, I know you're curious. What do you get when you more than double that budget for the G5? Well, we already talked about brightness. What else do you get? First, that anti-glare on the G5 is slightly better. It absorbs, or rather mutes, the glare, so that's pretty good. Worth an extra 1,000 or 1,500? That's up to you. And if you're a PC gamer, 165 Hz. Refresh rate with higher performance VRR, but the B4 is pretty good for console gamers. Xbox, Switch 2, PS5 Pro, it is good enough in my opinion. But most importantly is this third part. The G5 uniquely among G series as well, right? If you get a G series upgrade, 5-year panel warranty, which covers burn-in. So the G5, G4, G3, right? If you get the G series, 5 years, whereas the B4 manufacturer warranty, 1 year, no special panel replacement for burn-in, right? Just a standard manufacturer warranty. And for me, that is probably the #1 reason to get the G5 is that peace of mind 5-year panel replacement warranty that does cover burn-in. That plus the other stuff, maybe worth the extra 1,000, but I don't know, the image quality is so close. But let me know what TV you end up getting for $999. What TV is in your list? Comment below, and until next time, my friends, stop the FOMO.